Okay, in this video, we're going to look at one last example of the learning target. I can solve application problems by writing quadratic functions and factoring to find the solutions. And the problem we're going to look at is write and solve an equation to find two consecutive odd integers whose product is 143. So the idea here is to get this set up, you need to recognize that odd integers are two apart, right? Like if I think about odd numbers, it goes 1, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 9, then 11, then 13, and so forth, right? And I know that each of these are just adding 2 gives me the next one, okay? So when it says find two consecutive odd integers, okay, I'm going to use this idea that they're two apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let x represent the first odd integer. Okay, so I don't know what the first odd integer is, so I'm going to let x represent it. And then like I was saying, they're each two apart, so if it wants two consecutive odd integers, well then that means the next one, the consecutive one, is just going to be x plus 2, right? They're two apart from each other. So if I let x be the first one, x plus 2 has to be the second odd integer. Okay, so these are my two integers, x and x plus 2. And I'm going to throw this guy in parentheses, actually. And then it says, whose product, so product means multiply, is 143. So that means when I take x times x plus 2, it has to equal 143. Okay, so this is the setup for this word problem. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the x. So that gives me x squared plus 2x equals 143. You'll notice this is in standard form, so I'm going to minus the 143, get everything on one side. So I get x squared plus 2x minus 143 equals 0. And then I want to factor this guy. So when I factor it, I think the first times the first should give me the first, so that's x times x. And then I want to think about what times what gives me 143. Now, this is kind of a tricky number to think about which numbers are going to multiply to give you 143. So what I would do, because I know I'm looking for odd integers, is I would look at my list here and think which numbers have the best chance, and obviously this continues on, but what numbers have the best chance of getting me a 143? Now remember, 143 is close to 150, which is 10 times 15, right? So if 10 times 15 gives me a bigger number, I know I'm going to want slightly smaller numbers than 10 and 15, or close numbers to this. So when I look at this list, I'm probably going to try 11 and 13 first. So if I put negative 11 and negative 13, if we multiply those together, 13 times 11, well, 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 1 is 1, so we get 13. Put the 0 as a placeholder. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. If I add those, I get 143. So 11 and 13 check out. I want 13 to be positive, right? Because I want the positive 2 in the middle, and the 11 to be negative. That way, when I multiply them, I get the negative 143. But when I combine them, 13x minus 11x will give me the 2x in the middle. Okay, so this is the correct factored form. And then I set both factors equal to 0, and I solve them. So I'm going to get x equals negative 13 as one answer, and x equals 11 as the other answer. Now, obviously, if we're looking for two consecutive odd integers, negative 13 is not the one we're looking for. We're looking for 11 here. We don't want the negative, so we get x equals 11. That's the first odd integer. And then the second one is just two more than that. So the two numbers we're looking for here are 11 and 13.